Don't forget that. Please mark your attendance. The second thing will be the pending GD sessions. Is there anybody yet to complete their GD sessions? Please notify right now. We'll have to plan accordingly and then proceed. Anyone? Anybody yet to complete their GD? Anyone yet? I'm sure there are. Hopefully, they will write to me and then connect with me in this regard. And then the interview sessions, which started off yesterday. Um, so I had a couple of wonderful sessions. Some were not up to the standard that we intend to be. So the preparations should be on for everyone. Okay, so the feedback that I had from the past 1 or 2 days where the interviews were happening, majorly people in the sense us, right? We tend to justify our decisions that we have made in the past, even though that was not asked. Okay, so don't do that. Let's say, for example, there is a question asking why did you choose EC, right? Always keep it a positive approach for these questions. Okay, why did you choose to attend this interview? Why not something in EC itself? Why IT? Why this? Why that? Okay, all these questions are intended to understand if your decision making is based on positive thought process or negative thought process. So unless otherwise you want to give your bad choices and tell them that I am a poor decision maker, don't give them any bad answers. Bad answers in the sense, don't give them anything negative. Okay, negative answers in terms of particularly this question doesn't sell well, doesn't go well at all. என்ன பண்ணலாம், right? Be positive uh, with your answers. For example, they are asking why did you choose ECE, right? There could be possible, it's a possibility that you wanted to do medicine, possible that you wanted to do some other stream, mechanical or civil, you wanted to do something else, even IT or a CSE, but you ended up in ECE because someone forced you to, or because uh, that was the only thing available in this college or whatever it is, maybe many reasons that actually happened. uh, but then that is not something which you have to accept and explain. Just tell them that that is something which you liked and make up a story, but then try and be organic about it. Don't make them just don't give them a lie. At the same time, just because you have to be honest doesn't mean you'll have to tell them that I asked for CSE, I asked for IT, I wanted to do mechanical, but then people forced me to do this. People forcing you to do a particular stream of line is not a positive answer, even if those people were your parents. Okay, so that is something which you'll have to understand and then answer accordingly. Um, பொய் சொல்ல சொல்றீங்களா? No, I'm not. Just that don't be truthful here. That's all I'm saying. That is a difference. Um, you just say that this is a decision that myself and my family sat together and made. Simple. Okay, so that is one. The most important feedback that I have is in terms of answering. Tell me about yourself. Still, people are um, trying to memorize their life and then tell as an answer. I'm trying to uh, help you out. Understand that is not how you will have to do it. It is a conversation. So bring out as a conversation. Don't give them an answer. Hope you understand what I'm saying. Don't just uh, proceed and tell them that I did my school and stuff. Make it your own. The answer, whatever that you're replying to them, make it your own. How will you say that? Okay, don't look at someone else for how are they doing it. Let me replicate it. No, you will have to come up with an answer where how will you talk to someone and try and tell them that this is my life, this is what I did, and this is the skill set that I possess. That's how you'll answer. Tell me about yourself. So be prepared for that. Start preparing. Any amount of preparation is not good enough. So keep practicing this answer, because as I mentioned, the initial 2 minutes is going to be a huge you know uh, 2 minutes for you, because it's a make or break in that organization. See, your life is going to be too good. I'm just saying, in that particular organization, if you are attending an interview, the initial 2 minutes are important. You'll have to give your best, for which you need to start preparing and practicing. Okay, that's it. Okay, now coming to the interview sessions, I want volunteers, so that we can do the interview sessions, and those volunteers must come on video mode right now. Anyone anyone interested to go first? Who wants to go first, guys? Or else I'm going to call out names anyways. Um, so I'll give you a few seconds to come up with a volunteer. Anyone? Sumant, you want to go first? Why Sumant? Joy Pravina, do you want to go now? Pravina, can you hear me? All of you saying no. Okay, listen. This will not help you. As I have many a times mentioned, you have to um, start saying yes. I will go first. Okay, only then the nervousness, energy that might build up will go away. Um, Waiting for your turn or pushing yourself for the last is not going to help. Okay, so this is the nervous energy that I was talking about, the waiting time. Okay, you need to avoid that. Remember this for a long time. This is the time when the nervousness builds up. If you say okay, I'll go ahead, you can finish it off, and then you know look at others, and the learning will be huge. So நான் எவ்வளவு சொன்னாலும் நீங்க கேட்க போறது இல்லையா? நீங்க எவ்வளவு சொன்னாலும் நான் வாலண்டியர் பண்ண மாட்டேன், ரைட்? Okay. All right. In terms of some other feedbacks that I wanted to share from the experience in the past couple of days, where the interview sessions were on. Okay. Okay. Like when you talk about tell me about yourself, yeah. Um, at some point, some of you lost track of what they were planning to communicate. That is an issue. You always have to know what you're talking about and what is the question that you're answering. That is something which you need to keep a track of at every moment of the answer. Whenever you're talking, you need to know what you're talking about, and why you're talking about this, because there was a question. Okay, so what happens is you veer away, you change track and talk about something which you need not be talking when some particular question is asked. You need to be sticking to the questions that was asked you. For that, the important part is to understand the question specifically. Okay, so the reason is, at some point I asked, what do you think is your strength, based on which you made a decision. Okay, so I'm being very specific about what is the strength you have to make a decision in your life. So that is the question that I asked. So they jumped into something else, like strength. What are the other strengths that they have? Completely away from connecting to the question. The question was related to decision making and what are the skills that you have to make a decision. But then the answer was nothing related to the decision making that I mentioned about. So what happens here is your listening skill goes for a toss. Okay, so if they're assessing that as well in the interview, they'll feel like, okay, this person jumps to conclusions without understanding the question, without understanding the issue. This person jumps to conclusion and starts talking, and that is a problem area. Okay, so understand the question completely. If there is a question, please understand that. And one more thing that I found was, I always have clearly mentioned, when you walk into the interview hall, okay, and when you first meet the panel or the individual who, it could be a panel also, it could be an individual also sitting there. When you initially meet them, when you give a handshake to all of them, or one of the interviewer there, you are going to be very loud about your name. Hey, my name is Praveen, or whatever your name is. You're going to tell them that, and then you will, take your seat. Okay. The problem is, even after doing that, when you start answering any question, then you are starting. Some of you did this. I'm not saying all of you. Some of you did this. Don't do this. They start with their name, and my name is Abdina. That is absolutely not okay. How many times will you tell your name? Don't give your name more than once. That is, absolutely enough. What happens is, it is very very clear. You don't even have to proceed with an answer. It's very very clear that this is a answer that you have memorized, and then you are coming and telling us. It's not a conversation that you're having. It's very clear. So you don't even have to go into much into your reply for that particular question. The interviewer will know that you have memorized the answer, and then you're just telling us from your memory, not exactly your conversation, which will put yourself down in terms of uh, your communications, right? Your communicating ability is something which will not be recognized if you memorize and say something. Always try and have a thought flow when you are answering. Your preparation should also be that way. There should be a thought process in your head which you will utilize. That's it. The thought process is what you will have to. That is what I mean as practice and preparation. I'm not talking about writing an detailed answer, memorizing it, and then telling it to the interviewer. It has to be a thought process. It has to be flowchart kind in your mind. Okay, what should I talk about? I should talk about my education. So, okay, where did I start my education? What is the next thing that I did in school? And did I move from one school to another? Did I move from one place to another? What was the reason I moved? Right? Why did I choose to do my college here? Why did I choose this course? This is how you need to think and then have a thought process in your head, not the other way around. Don't memorize an answer and give it in an interview, because interview is not about your memory. Interview is about how you handle yourself, how you control your emotions, and how you manage the pressure and stress that they put you through. Okay, so you have to somehow communicate with the interviewer rather than giving answers which you have memorized. Never do that. That is the last thing you should do. Okay, so, and again, don't start with your name, because you have already given your name when you entered the hall. These are the simple things, right? What is the difference? Why Praveen is insisting on don't start with the name in terms of answering a question. Okay, the reason is that is a telltale sign that you are a rookie. You're still a student. Guys, understand there is something called employability. Know this word, understand this word, employability. Out of the many engineers, lakhs of engineers that we produce in a year, okay, uh, maximum of 10% are deemed employable. There are more than 10% that are hired, okay, but then only 10% or little less than that are employable. In the meaning, what is the meaning of this term employability or employable? Ready for corporate world, ready for being an employee somewhere. Okay, you have all the skill sets. Okay, you just need fine tuning. So that is the idea behind employability. We should be there. We should be competing to be there in the employability bracket. We should not be outside of that. So that is what I'm talking about. When you're talking to someone, you just don't give your name every time. There is a conversation going. They ask you a question. Will you again start with your name? Okay, my name is Praveen. It doesn't augur well. Don't do that. And Don't keep a memorized answer for particularly for tell me about yourself. That is a wrong approach. Many people would ask you to do that. S- maybe your friends would ask you to do that. Someone else who's an authority will ask you to have something in memory. I would suggest, have a thought process. Okay, okay. If I was asked this question, how will I go about it? What is the flow of thought I should bring about? Where should I start? What all should I mention? What should I not mention? Needless information is something which will put you under a lot of pressure. Why do you say that? Because when they find something which is not needed and you mention that, okay, there is a possibility that the interviewer will pick that particular point and ask many questions on that. You don't want that. You want the interviewer to focus on generic ideas, and the interviewer has to focus on what exactly that you bring to the table, what you think is your strength. That is where the interviewer must keep their questioning to. How do you control it? You can't actually control unless otherwise you are focused on your answers. You start preparing and practice. How do you answer? If you keep memory and then go there, there is a possibility that you can freeze and forget what you wanted to say, and then it's a problem to start thinking. If you already have a thought process, that is the backbone of your answers, then it will be easier for you to communicate with the interviewer, and that is what is expected. I'm making it very clear. Don't start with your name when there is a question that is put forth. The interviewer already knows your name because you came down to the interview hall. You introduced yourself before the interview started. Don't they know their name? Don't start my name is, I am, myself அப்படின்னு சொல்லி உங்க பேரை வச்சு don't start. That is absolutely not okay. That is not accepted. That's the last thing you should do. I'm trying to make it very very clear again and again, because even after saying that is what happened in the interviews yesterday. Some of the interviews, not everyone. I'll have to give that. There are a couple of them who were exceedingly good. Okay, so they did really well. There are some who are still, in the mid level, but then there are also people who completely, ill prepared. They're not even started preparation. That I could actually sense. That is not going to help, right? So that is something which I wanted to communicate. Is there any questions that you have right now? Okay. Yeah. Okay. See, the reason why I'm not too sure about the specific time is there are many people who have already communicated with me, and then the timing must be flexible with all of you. Please help me there. I will also be flexible as much as I can. But then, in terms of the time, don't be stringent on 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or something like that. It could be 4:10. You may have to wait for 10-15 minutes for my previous session to complete. That's what I'm talking about. So just be flexible for these interview sessions alone in terms of the timing. Okay, done. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, and I'm reminding again, if there is any GD session that is pending still, please don't wait today. We'll have to finish the GD. Okay, I think there is one or two teams that are still pending. If there is individual that are pending, please come forward. Okay, that is one. The next thing, interview sessions, come up with a schedule. Even though the schedule might go haywire, we might have to push it or pull it forward. We will keep doing that, but at the same time, start the message today. Okay, we'll somehow end up doing it between today, tomorrow, day after. We'll close it. If you plan to do it day after tomorrow also, send the message today, so that we are on track. There is a conversation that's happening. We'll every day you check with me, sir. Tomorrow we are doing it. We are planning it. Keep reminding me, because I don't have a way of following up with 170 people. I want you guys to do that for me. Okay, find a team, and one of the representatives for that team organize within you guys, and then keep me informed. And that has to happen today. Please message me today on when you are planning your interview sessions. I'm making it very clear. Anything else you'd like to ask? If not, thank you. Mark your attendance. All right. Thank you. You can leave.